Hello and welcome to I'll Try That, the beer review and news podcast.
I'll Try That, the beer review and news podcast.
Here in London.
Ding dong.
I was thinking about this last night in bed.
Smashed it. Proof for success.
As a soon-to-be fur daddy. Another one in the bag.
I'm vetoing that.
On this week's episode, we're putting our faith in Northern Monk as we try their Hazy Pale Ale. But first, the hot topic.
All right then, a bit of advertising I think here, because there is a job that's just been announced, and it sounds pretty good, I'm not going to lie. So, for £50,000, you could become the new brand ambassador for Michelob Ultra beer. And all you have to do is travel around the world, taking pictures of exploring the outdoors, and post it on the Instagram page.
Okay, I'll do it. Like, give me that job. That person, no, I'm doing it.
That sounds awesome.
That
sounds like a great job.
Absolutely amazing. That's like living a dream, isn't it? You get to travel the world, drink beer. It is a beer, right?
Yeah.
Michelob Ultra, it's great. Michelob Ultra is like a low-calorie beer.
Okay.
Like, it's all positioned around, like, you can have it, you know, you can be out there and it's about being active.
Yeah.
So this makes total sense that this whole job is about being in travel. It's about being out in outdoors. You know, you probably go to some big national parks in the States. You probably go to places in Europe as well.
I will jump into a waterfall and drink that beer. I'll do it.
Job description goes, the ideal candidate has a deep appreciation for the joy that connecting with nature brings, as well as a love of beer.
So that's me. I'll do it. I'm going to keep saying this.
Should we consider this your application for this job?
This is it.
Okay, then let's do this as a job interview then.
Okay, let's go. Ready?
So, Simmo, welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Okay, hello. How you doing?
This is Rich. He's our head of brand ambassadorship programs.
Hi.
So, welcome, come in. So, this is obviously you're here for the interview for the Michelob Ultra brand ambassador program.
Of course.
I'm sure you've read the job description.
Yes.
You'll be traveling around the world.
Yes.
You'll be taking photos. What makes you the ideal candidate?
My unity and my one with nature is so palpable that it exudes from my very essence.
What sort of things have you done in nature that you think it exudes from you?
Also, why do you think that exuding things is an important thing that people need to know?
I'm going to throw it out there. I'm not going to give you the job.
Yeah, but you would never give me a job anyway. Anyway,
that was possibly one of the worst first opening statements of a job interview you could possibly do.
It came out of my head. I have never interviewed for a job such as this, but I would have smashed it. You're just very negative. I feel the negative.
No.
And you know, I don't like it, all right?
I was like, right, we will give you one more chance. Because we're really positive people. Yeah. So, Simmo, tell us something about you. Why do you like beer? Why do you think you'll be, great traveling around the world, drinking beer, taking photos?
I don't like the peer pressure that I'm feeling under with the two of you now death staring me through your microphones.
That's a really weird answer.
This is a job interview, not a podcast or something.
Oh, is it not? I didn't realise. Then I genuinely, I think if whoever gets this job is just living the dream, like completely.
For the next 6 months, they are one lucky mother trucker.
So it's only a 6-month job for 50,000 as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to think like that. Obviously, a brand ambassadorship, you become a brand ambassador. That's a stepping stone, I think. It's a stepping stone job. Like, that's an amazing job to have. Yeah. But I think the idea being is that you can then try and see what you could work that with. I know there was a lot of ambassador programs for like the likes of Red Bull at university, really popular with university students.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, Monster, those energy drinks and that.
Do you remember the minis with the Monster drink?
No, it was the Red Bull.
Red Bull.
There was a big Red Bull on the back thing. That was really cool. Like if you were one of those brand ambassadors for Red Bull and you had that mini, that was so cool.
Yeah.
Think about that. But yeah, it's an interesting one. As a brand ambassador, you are the face of the brand.
Yeah.
So
big responsibility. Actually.
It is. You need to know everything about Michelob Ultra, basically. You need to almost personify that product and that brand.
And now for some Pursuit of Hoppiness.
So this week we're talking about Northern Monk and their Hazy Pale Ale. So Northern Monk have quite humble beginnings, I'd say. They started in 2015 officially because they moved into the old Flax store in Leeds, but it came from a £5,000 gift from a grandparent to help them set that up. So, Rich, maybe you can tell us a bit more about the old Flax store.
So the old Flax store is a Grade 2 listed building. So it's a big old place that hosts all of their where they brew.
And Grade 2, that's like a heritage site. What does that mean to be Grade 2?
So Grade 2, you can't. I believe you can't do major alterations to it without certain kinds of planning permission, but they're very, very hard to come by.
So basically, it's an old building that you can't change.
So essentially, like, you definitely can't touch the front or the outside of the building, like, at all in any way. So it's like the idea that you can edit it, but you're very limited into what you can actually edit.
So they've taken a structure basically that's been around for a long time, and they put a brewery inside it.
It's a heritage site, yeah.
Is it? Does that mean if you're Grade 2 is heritage?
So as in it's like you're very limited into what you can do.
There's restrictions that apply on what you can do, which doesn't sound like the perfect place to build a new brewery, if I'm honest, or a new inside it.
But you can put things inside it. You can put all the equipment you need. You just can't mess around with it.
Well, yeah. So they can because they have two sites, and between their two sites, they have enough equipment to brew 18 different kinds of beer.
Yeah,
which is pretty impressive. And the expansion they've gone from when they. I read an article where they were talking about they just started off in one of their mum's basements, and that's where they brewed everything and were delivering all of the beer in the boot of his mum's car.
So proper rags to riches story.
100%.
That humble beginnings. You know, they started out brewing the beer, delivering it around, doing what they needed to do to get that done in the basement, delivering in a car. You know, their first official startings of Northern Monk might have been, I think, maybe like 2014, maybe before business planning and all that stuff. But in my mind's eye, they became a legitimized brewery by moving into this old Flax store in 2015.
Yeah, and apparently, so I would love to go and visit it. Apparently, it's a very nice space, and they do all the usual brewery tours and everything like that. But you can have like weddings there, and there's got a big event spaces and stuff like that. So
multi-use.
The backdrop of a Grade 2 listed building, that does sound really nice. It's like a lovely historic place to be.
So, as in, they are very proud on the fact that they have these two refectories that is where you can go and enjoy their beer, right? For a refectory, for those that don't know, is essentially it stems back from monasteries, which is a dining hall for monks. And that's kind of where... So they're using that name because obviously they are Northern Monk. They're using that name, refectories, which is a dining hall for monks back in the day. And they're using that as a way to say, you know, this is where you can come and enjoy the kind of almost religious nature of their beer. And their two places are Leeds and Manchester.
So going back onto... So they're Northern Monk. They have a monk as their logo. You know, their beer is called Faith. They talk about having faith. You've got to have faith in the beer. But they also call their people, the people who work for Northern Monk, as brethren.
Awesome. Love it.
Which, again, it's all that, you know, building this faith, religion. It's all religious connotations. You know, refectory, as you said, exactly. It's a communal room used for in religious institutions.
Yeah.
For meals. So, you know, they're just, it's about inviting. It's a community thing. And I think the community side is something that's really kind of stood out with Northern Monk.
Yeah, so they're very, very heavy on their community feel. So you can actually go to their website, and one of their biggest things is their community and collaboration. And they're very big on collaborating with smaller companies to make interesting, unique beers. So, for example, they have made 26 different projects with different people.
Also, that's like 26 different collaborations with people.
Yeah, so 26 different styles of beer with different people.
Okay.
So the first series they've ever done was with a man called Tom Carries from Aberdeen, who was originally based in Leeds. And so, for instance, they made a Raw Emotions. They made DC3 Iceland, which is, these all got coffee essences to them.
Okay, so hang on, just pause for a sec. So they're just making different beers,
unique beers with other people
that are out for probably a short period of time or a limited batch, but with other people.
Yeah.
And
So, for instance, they made one that was called Mountain Waves, which was dark cherry and Burundi Marori coffee almond stout, which was a 10.5.
That sounds pretty intense as a drink.
Yes, it is.
That feels heavier than a Guinness.
Yeah,
just from the wording alone.
I mean, we know from Northern Monk they are the people that did the Aunt Bessie's beer.
Yes.
The meals in a can. So that in itself was, I mean, that made its way into a hot topic that we talked about. So, they're doing out there stuff. That cherry one that you just talked about, that sounds really intense as well. It's very different.
It sounds awful, but each to their own.
But as in, for instance, their Series 10 was called Culinary Concepts. So a bit of a tongue twister. And so, for instance, they made a 6.3 IPA called Milkshake. They made a Pontefract Cake Porter 6.
A Pontefract cake?
That's obviously a cake from the Pontefract.
Yeah, and then they
made I don't know it personally, but that makes sense.
The North Star Coffee Roasters, which is lemon, lime, and coffee Berliner. Then they had cranberry, almond, and so they're obviously going for these amazing, interesting, unique styles, and they've done 26 of these, and they've only been going 5 years.
Yeah,
so I think it's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like they're using their ability to make good beer with very interesting ingredients, and the fact that they're linking it with people. Or maybe special people.
Yeah.
That first one you talked about was with the special person that they talked about. Or it's just about the ingredient themselves, letting the beer speak for itself. They're letting the beer speak for itself.
But they're linking it with community all the time and how being with others.
Yeah, so they link it with community as well. And it sounds like they're trying to make a community within their brewery as well. They said so they hire 50 dedicated people to work across their 2 sites alone. But I was just doing a little bit...
They're brethren.
They're brethren. There we go. But I was just doing a bit of reading into their general work ethos, so maybe stepping away from the beer slightly. But they like to ensure that they're looking after everybody within their team. So they're pioneering, and the mental health first aid is a very big thing at the moment. So they have specialised mental health first aiders across all of their sites. And they train people to identify signs of stress and everything like that. And they're very good at letting people have short notice leave, and they work around people's working hours because they don't want it to be a stressful environment. So they actively work with their team to make sure they're happy.
Sounds like they're being like a modern employer. They're identifying the needs and stresses of modern day. The working environment has changed. What we demand as employees or what we expect from employers has changed.
Yeah.
And thankfully, Northern Monk sound like they're right from the very start addressing those kind of concerns and levels of concern.
But they have specific missions, don't they? Where they kind of are trying to push, as in they're very kind of, they try to be current with the ongoing, so they with the community feel, they try to push this kind of helping others, because their big thing is helping others, supporting injustices and things like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did some, as you imagine, quite a lot of work around pride. They've taken that as, they call it a social mission, where they're committing to working with their communities for positive change. So, for every 12 pack of their Keep the Faith beer that's been sold, they've donated £3 of that to LGBTQ plus community programs.
Amazing.
It's really nice.
So again, it's that you're talking about communities. They're building, right from the very start, and they very proudly talk about it on the website, on the cans. It's to say about how they're trying to be a force for good. Right from the very start.
I didn't know much about Northern Monk at all. I'd never tried any of their beers up until today, but I'm genuinely excited to see where they go. For a company that's exploded this quickly in the way they've expanded and what they're already doing for the community, for their staff team and stuff like that, I think there's only going to be positives for these guys, and I think it's going to get better and better, and I think we're going to be hearing some good things that we'll probably have to revisit, I reckon, in a year or so, because I reckon there's going to be some changes that have happened.
Well, we also know as well that they're doing so many collaborations, so many new exciting beers. I think one that goes back to their link of how they're approaching sustainability, which is pretty unique. I haven't come across a brewery that does this yet, but they've created a zero waste beer in 2016. So what that means is they teamed up with the Junk Food Project. So this project, this group of people make meals out of food that otherwise would have been thrown away. So that's reclaimed or recycled pears, croissants, brioche, that's some things. And they've used the hops and the malt used in the production that's donated then to local farms for feed, for fertilizer.
Yeah.
And, every single bottle has been made out of 100% recycled glass. So that's how they can get zero waste.
That's crazy.
Beer.
Yeah.
Recycled food in the ingredients. The hops wastage goes for feed, has another life, has another use, and the recycled material.
What I think is what's amazing about Northern Monk is they have literally encapsulated the idea of being a monk. the idea that you're supposed to care and love the community, the whole atmosphere around this company and everything they're doing is literally surrounded by their basic ideology. Their logo is, we are monk-like. We care for people. We want to help other people. Everything we do is to help and support those around us. On top of the fact that they're not just saying we're monks, we're northern monks. And leading on to this with the can design is they have made sure that it is a northern company, with the fact that they have on their can, the
Angel of the North.
The Angel of the North on their can. Okay.
So this is the Hazy Pale Ale can. Okay.
Yeah. I really like the colours of it, because the colour is very monk-like. Like, when you think of a monk, you think of the brown robe, right? And it has those brown colours. It has the earthy colours. And I really like it. I think it's a cool design. And it also punches at you with their logo.
Well, colours-wise, Hazy, it looks like it's a summer's morning, a summer's day. It feels warm. I feel warmth coming from it. So you make an interesting point about design. This is just actually a label stuck to the can.
Yeah.
So this is the classic of a newish company, craft ale company, that currently right now haven't got the production or canning process where they're able to apply labels or directly print onto cans.
Okay.
So what they've done is just basically have one big label, which they've then stuck to the can, which it has this very distinctive look where you've got the can, aluminium can color and underneath, and you've got this label around. But it means they get to do some really cool stuff with the design, because it's just a graphic design then that they can just print out, and you can do more complex printing on labels than you can direct to can.
I also really enjoy, have you read the little kind of like info card they've got on the back of the can as well?
Yeah.
With their design, I think it's quite good. They've gone very northern again with, hey up, we're Northern Monk.
Yeah,
Which is a very northern phrase. And once again, they're talking about their ethos and where they started from. But I also like the way they've described the brewer. So Brian Dixon, which is one of the brethren, number two.
Brethren number two.
So
obviously high up there.
Yeah. Described as an affable and vaguely eccentric brewing wizard in oversized wellies. Which I think is a great way to describe it.
I like that. It's a company that's not taking themselves too seriously.
Like grounded.
And I think, we know from, if you were to stereotype the North, they have a great sense of humour.
No, as in, like, you're completely right. As in, like, there's a bit of humour in there, which I think has to be in there, because you could see it as like, if you take being a monk too seriously, it can be quite sobering, but probably the wrong word to use. But
I thought monks were very serious people.
However, well, you say that, Friar Tuck, not so much.
Northern Monk is named after monks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And it's going back to the monks used to be the brewers of alcohol, of beer specifically.
But originally, the reason why monks made alcohol as well is because water was undrinkable, which meant they made this very weak kind of mead, right? And so I love the fact that it makes it historic, even though this company is from 2015. It feels historic because of the name and because of the logo and because of the way they've done it. It makes it feel older.
Do you think as well that there is a little bit of, because they're playing in this almost very religious themes, but they're poking fun at it, that people could take offense to that? Do you think that's... I mean, I actually don't think that's a bad thing.
I think it's that's tastefully done, though. I don't think they haven't gone to the point where they're taking the mick. I think it is tastefully done, and I think it's almost playing into its favour, because I think people like the idea of like that kind of connotation with it.
I think it's a tasteful take, but it's also a take on the times.
Yeah,
like religion is not
big.
Where it was at one point.
Yeah,
but and nowadays people want to. But it's keeping religion alive in that sense,
in a good way,
like rather than it being this thing that no one has anymore or doesn't like think about. Like they're using the words like faith, refectory, monks. They're just bringing it all up, and actually you're engaging with religion in a new way.
Yeah, in a positive way.
In a positive, it's very positive.
Well,
it's about
positive,
a beer. It's about back to the. This is a beer company that's having that they're fun. They're an ethical, well-valued, community-driven organization that's creating good products, and we'll talk about the liquid in a second, but it's actually it's nothing but positivity from my mind about how they're linking this up with religious connotations.
As you said, the flavour, though, we've talked about how good the company is, we've talked about their community. Let's actually talk about the taste.
Hazy Pale Ale.
So the word hazy, I think, is important.
5.4%.
I do get the hazy idea behind it, sort of thing, because it's not an in-your-face taste, or there's not the wrong way to describe it. It's not in your face the whole when you're drinking it. It's not.
I feel like it tastes murky. It sounds really weird.
Interesting. Explain.
So when you drink it, there's loads of flavour, but it feels like it's not, as you said, it doesn't hit you. It's not like boom, but there's a lot of flavour to it. So the murky water, as in like, it sounds a bit weird to say, but like when you look at murky water, there's lots in it, but it's not hitting you, like as in
murky water sounds horrible. Why are you talking about murky water? Northern Monk is like shouting right now. I'm going to say, stop linking us with murky water.
As in, like, I really like it, and I think it's a really interesting flavor. But what I'm trying to get the point of is like when you drink it, it's not like instant hit of flavor. It's not an instant hit. It's like a gradual hit of flavor, and I really like it.
Yeah, it subtly creeps up on you.
Yes, as in it's not like a smash in your face. Oh my god, that's got loads of citrus in it. That's not how you feel when you drink it. You're like, okay, actually, there's a lot to this.
I somewhat disagree. But for me, anyway, this is nothing but a very full-bodied like beer. Like they talk about it being fruity. It's so strongly tasty, almost overwhelmingly like flavorful. Like there is so much flavor going on. You know that when I'm sipping this, my brain wakes up and everything just goes, whoa. My taste buds are alert. But you get that
instantly, because I feel like that comes with when you're drinking it.
I think it gradually comes on.
As in that, no, I'm not denying the full body.
Oh, no, I agree. It's a slow burn.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a slow burn in.
Which
is what it comes back to, that haziness.
Yeah, so it's not like a massive kick of flavour straight away, but there was tons of flavour in it, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't feel like it's a smash in your face. It feels like,
Well, I think it's a build, which actually is really interesting that they've been able to make this as a liquid. You know, it's got that full flavour, but it builds up and kind of welcomes you in. You know, to the, join us in the refectory as we're building you in. And you're getting that from a taste. That's really fascinating, actually.
It's warm and welcoming.
So the liquid itself is vegan as well. Again, going back into that, everything that they do about it is quite interesting, contemporary, quite new.
And it's 100% recyclable can as well, which is nice.
Love that. So Instagram, they have 70,000 followers.
Wow.
And Twitter, they have 27,000.
They need to fix that, don't they? If they got 70,000 on the other one, 70,000.
70,000.
Wow.
So I mean, they have tap rooms. Refectories are in Leeds and Manchester.
Come down to.
But I want to see London. It more. I want to see more. I mean, you can now get these cans pretty much everywhere. It's getting around.
Where did you buy them?
I picked them up from Tesco's, from the supermarket.
Okay, awesome. Because obviously we've had problems with purchasing in the past, and I haven't seen this advertised everywhere. Like it's not in your face with the advertising.
I don't think they're advertising at all.
No, this is what I'm saying. As in, like, there's not a lot of advertising with it, but it's kind of cropping up, isn't it? Like,
well, we're starting to see it more. But I mean, that following of 70,000, they're doing a lot of work on Instagram.
They're doing well on that side.
That's how they're getting the message out there, and they're just making sure that people can get access to the beer.
Yeah.
The fact that they're listed in supermarkets now is showing that they're growing. So yeah, Northern Monk definitely with a hazy pale ale. Try this soft fruit flavored, smooth and tropical and juicy.
100% vegan.
And that's all we have time for from this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe,
Rich,
and Simmo,
goodbye. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Twitter,
and watch us on YouTube.
Goodbye now. Always drink responsibly, and if you or anyone else needs some help, go to drinkaware.co.uk for more information.